Do you have energy drainers in your life? You know what I mean when I'm talking about energy drainers. The people who literally, before they even open their mouth, they just have to enter a room and they suck the energy out of the room. We call them emotional vampires. We call them narcissists. We call them all kinds of names, but you know the energy drainers by how they feel. Literally, they complain all the time. They tell their victim story. Everything is woe is me. Everything is la vida loca. Every week it's a new thing. Every week it's a new thing. And the thing about energy drainers, and you've lived this, is they take all the air out of the room. They suck all the energy out of the room. You feel worse after having had a 5-minute conversation with them than you do, I don't know, running in negative 10-degree weather outside. These people suck the life out of other people. And so the question becomes, how do you deal with energy drainers? In today's video, I'm going to give you 3 ways to effectively deal with other people's negative energy. Hi, I'm Cassandra Vaughn. This is Cassandra Vaughn TV, a life redesign channel for women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s who want to rebuild their minds, redesign their lives, and reestablish their powerful sense of self-worth. If you're a woman in your 30s, 40s, or 50s and you are ready to rebuild your life, meaning you are ready to put on your crown, to reclaim the throne and to rule your kingdom, click subscribe and click the bell and you'll be alerted every time there's a new video, and they will all relate to you. When it comes to energy, nobody's neutral. Here's the thing. One of my favorite quotes says, "Please be responsible for the energy you bring into this space." I live by that. The energy that I bring into other people's space, the energy that people bring into my space, everybody's got to be responsible for their own energy. Now, the problem with negative energy and people who bring a lot of negative energy is they blame everyone but themselves for the negative energy that they're bringing into this space, which then leads to you feeling like you have to put up with their negative energy, which then leads to them stealing all of your good energy. And before long, you've lost your joy, your peace, your groundedness, your clarity, and you're wondering why you feel drained. You feel drained because you're surrounding yourself with negative energy that really doesn't need to be in your space if they can't take responsibility for the energy that they bring into that space. So, how do you deal with negative energy folks? And listen, we're all negative at some point, so it's not just a type of person. We all do it. But how do you deal when you have negative energy in your space? Here's what you do. Let me give you 3 ways to effectively deal with other people's negative energy, and here they are. Number 1, stay positive. So the first thing is stay positive. This is a super simple and highly effective strategy for dealing with people who are bringing negative energy to the table. Stay positive. Listen, we've all had those days where we're in a completely bad mood. You know, we stub our toes as soon as we wake up. The coffee is cold, like everything sucks. And the thing that when you're in those bad mood moments that really irks you is when you get around a really positive person and they are so bubbly and so positive, you just go, oh, I can't take them. And then you run away from them. This strategy will apply when you're in a positive mindset or mind frame and somebody is trying to bring negative energy to your table. You simply go super positive from a genuine place. You focus on what's working on your life. You focus on what you're happy about. You talk about the good things that are going on. You talk about what you're grateful for. And what you're going to find is either that negative person is going to veer in the positive direction with you, or they're going to run from you, which you want them to run if they're going to still remain negative. So I want you to put this to the test. I want you to, the next time somebody complains to you about their life, you know, you've got those complainers like everything sucks and everything's horrible. The next time somebody complains to you about your life, about their lives, I want you to try this strategy. Go super positive on them. Focus on all the great things that are working out and all the benefits and all that. And then what I want you to do is come back to this video, comment, and tell me what happened. Like, what ended up happening, because I'll tell you already what's going to happen. When you're dealing with a complainer and you start focusing on gratitude and appreciation, everything you want, they're either going to run from you or they're going to join you. And it's pretty miraculous when they join you. So try that out, stay positive, and then comment below and tell me how it went. Number 2, End the conversation when your energy begins to drain. Okay, so the second thing you can do to effectively deal with other people's negative energy is kind of a harsh one. End the conversation when your energy begins to drain. Not when you've been in the conversation for hours and you're like, oh, and you feel like a zombie. No, when your energy begins to drain, meaning you've done the stay positive thing, you are going on an appreciation rampage, you are talking about all the things that are working in your life, and they are just downward spiraling. They are just getting deeper and deeper into the negative energy. There comes a moment when you're in a conversation with somebody who's bringing a ton of negative energy to the table, where you start to feel a sinking within you, right? It's kind of like there's a sinking that starts to happen. When you feel that, or a tightness in your chest, it is time to end the conversation. And this, yes, it will feel like a harsh strategy. Let's just be real. It'll be a harsh strategy. You literally will, when I say end the conversation, when you start to feel that emotional drain, I mean, literally you stop a person mid-sentence, you go, you know what? This is just not a good conversation for me to have, and I don't want to live in that space, so I'm going to end the conversation. And they'll get pissy, and they may go, what do you mean? I just said that I'm done having this conversation. Click, done. And yes, people will get pissed off, and they'll get mad, and they'll say, oh, but you know what? What's more important, your state of mind or their ability to spread their negative energy all over your life? Put you first. Put you first. Now, if you're struggling with this particular strategy, if you're struggling with ending conversations with people who are taking you on a downward spiral with them, I want you to comment below and tell me what is the thing that you're struggling with most when it comes to using this particular strategy and cutting off the conversation when you see that it's going nowhere and it's just this big circular argument and your energy is getting drained. What are you struggling with? Comment below and tell me. If you have trouble ending conversations like that, what is the thing that keeps you from ending the conversation? Number 3, when all else fails, clearly indicate your standard on negativity. So the third way to effectively deal with other people's negative energy is a very straightforward, to the point, often hard to implement way to go, but sometimes this is necessary. And so when all else fails, when the positivity fails, when ending the conversation fails, what you're left with, if somebody's continuing to be in your space and to be negative, is to clearly state your standards on negativity. You just gotta put it out there. Now, couple caveats, because lots of people will do this wrong. You do not clearly put your standards on negativity out there by saying, look, you're such a negative person and I really don't want to be right. The moment you personally attack another person, even if they are positive, they will ramp up their negativity. So it is never about saying to the other person, you're a narcissist and I just can't You're not pointing the finger at them. When you are clearly stating your standards on negativity, you are saying, look, I used to have a lot of negativity around me and I have changed my life, and I clearly enjoy being around people who speak about things that they love and what they're grateful for, and I just choose not to have any negativity, not even a little bit around me. That means I don't like to complain or gossip. I don't want to hear about what's going wrong in the world. I do not watch CNN for a reason. That is just the way that I choose to live my life. And I want to have a great conversation with you, but it cannot be based on negativity. I'm just not willing to allow that into my life anymore. And I hope you understand, but that's just not something that I can do. And so if you want to continue to talk about that subject, I'm just not the person to talk about that subject with. So we could talk about lots of things, but if that's all you want to talk about, I'm probably the wrong person for you to be talking to this about. Something like that. And then what will happen is, the person will probably say that you're insensitive and you don't care and you don't listen to them, and they'll probably go off for a minute and vent and be upset. They'll huff and puff and storm away. They'll send you nasty text messages later. I mean, all kinds of things with negativity can happen. But at least you have clearly stated where you stand on negativity, what you will and will not allow. You have set the boundary verbally, hopefully face to face with them. And so there is no confusion about what you will and will not allow. And therefore, the next time they try to pull that, which Just going to give you warning. They probably will. They probably think that you'll cool off and then you won't hold to that boundary. But the next time when you reinforce the boundary faster, when you reinforce it firmer, then they'll be like, oh, she's serious. And then by the third time, they'll really get it. And then they'll stop talking to you more than likely if they want to continue being negative. And you know what? If they stop talking to you, good. If they shift and so they only talk to you about things that are off the negative energy spectrum, good. Because it's good for them to not be negative too. So this strategy is really when all the other ones fail, when everything you try doesn't work, you clearly state, here are my standards on negativity. This is what I will accept. This is what I will not accept. These are the consequences. And let them do what we will with that. But they won't be doing that with you. That's how you handle that one. There you have it, my 3 ways that you can use to deal effectively with negative people. Now, if you are tired of surrounding yourself with users, takers, complainers, all of the negative energy drain kind of people, and you know that in order to take your life to the next level, you cannot have those people in your inner circle. If you're ready to let them go so you can rebuild yourself, I want you to check out my 10-week Rebuild Yourself program that is specifically for women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. And it is a program that will help you build the boundaries, have the boundary conversations, be very selective about who gets to be in your inner circle, and eliminate negative energy from your life. So you can check out more about the 10-week Rebuild Yourself program at CassandraVaughn.com/programs.